And we are beginning our Access workshop. I just wanted to thank everyone for being here. This is very exciting. This is our first one, and I'm just really excited to share this information with you. My name is Anya Searle. I'm a certified BodyTalk practitioner and also coordinator for BodyTalk Access and Freefall with Myriam Machado Baker. And Myriam is a senior BodyTalk practitioner. She's an international, not only practitioner, but also the facilitator of Access and Freefall. And she travels all around the world, providing her beautiful teachings. And today she's here with us. And we're going to dive into BodyTalk Access because most people don't know what that is. So we are going to cover the concepts that we address in Access and dive right in. So Myriam, I'm going to hand it to you.
Okay, so I want to welcome everybody. So we are trying to keep it this like free intro a little short. So because everyone is in the end of the day for all of us, most of us, I think, and I think we are all very tired now to be too long in front of the screen, right? So the purpose of this meeting here was just to chat a little bit. There are people there, they want to know what it's about. And Body Talk and Body Talk Access, it's not easy to explain them in one sentence. So that's why, we decided it would be good just to meet and talk a little bit. And I'm going to tell you some kind of, I think it's fun information. And we are starting the training, the real training starts on Sunday. So we are going to quickly talk about the difference between Body Talk and this, what we call is a consciousness-based healthcare that is so this slide here, we are going to see in the middle, we see a little iceberg, right? So a little, no, a big one. And so you can see, in the top of the iceberg is what we call is the conscious mind, is what we know. We know in our minds what we are used to. Our comfort zone is what is in our conscious, in our perception. And what is under the limit of the water is our subconscious mind, is where our beliefs, cultural programming, and projections and memories and stories, imagination, fears is all on the bottom of the water. And you can see what we have when we are awake is maybe 10% of the totality of our mind, so because we have this thinking mind and we have the subconscious mind. And the idea of allopathic healthcare is that is just looking for that little piece of the symptoms of the conscious mind that is related to analysis and diagnosis, and labeling people, right? Diagnosis is merely like a label, right? The doctors make a lot of exams and tests, and they have some numbers, and they put the numbers in statistics and say, well, good news or bad news, you have this. You have diabetes, you have blood pressure, high blood pressure, low blood pressure, whatever it is. So the allopathic healthcare tends to label and under this diagnosis based, which comes from like a long time ago, this concept of a mechanistic, seeing the body the body-mind complex. I can't even say only body, because we are not the body. We are not just the body. We are part of what we are is the physical body, but we have all other aspects. And mostly allopathic healthcare, they only focus on the physical body in a very mechanistic way, which would be like mechanic look into a car, right? If there is something wrong, if there's a tire wrong, just take the tire out, put a new one, and everything's going to be wonderful. And we know that this doesn't happen in our body-mind concept complex. Huh? And the allopathic healthcare also, like I said, it focuses on the symptoms. It doesn't, when we talk about energies, I have so many stories, but I don't want to start with my stories here. When you go to allopathic doctor and say, well, but there is this, I feel this energy, I feel better when I do this, or I feel not so good when I do that. And the doctor just, they can't, if they are really allopathic, and traditional doctors, they can't even understand what we are talking about. So there is no energy, levels of energy. All of that is kind of a no-no for this traditional medicine, in comparison with our BodyTalk. And we have this consciousness medicine, right? And we are going to play a little bit right now to explain what that means, what consciousness medicine means. But first, we understand that there are so many factors that impact our health. Environmental factors, epigenetic factors, emotional factors, right? I'm just going to go back a little bit. And you just go, yeah. So, and we know that we have a lot of levels of bodies. We have the physical body, we have the mental body, we have the energetic body, we have the ethereal body, the spiritual body, however you want to call. But we are not just this physical body. This is just a very gross frequency expression of this whole energy consciousness that lives in us. So in order to for us to have a little movement now, so I don't keep talking and talking and talking, we are going to play a little bit. Do a little movement. So just move back a little bit from the table, and we are going to move the arms. But the idea, let me just move here so you can see me moving my arms. The idea is not just moving the arm like this. I can move my arm like this and kind of okay, I have a little pain here. But what we wanted to move the arm with a very kind of very slowly, we're going to lift the arm to the side. And it's very, very slowly, in a way that we feel the weight of the arm. We feel like, this whole experience of lifting the arm. So very, very slowly. And when you feel that the weight get heavier, or we feel any tension, we are going to stop, okay? So first, we are going to do sideways, and then we are going to do front, in the front of the body. Okay, so let's just do a little bit, just to feel a little bit, just to practice. Lift the arm to the side. It can be the right or the left arm, doesn't matter. And then when you feel a little tension, just stop. Maybe it's a tension on the top of the shoulder, maybe it's on your armpit, maybe it's even in your neck, maybe it's even in your leg, doesn't matter. And then bring it down and do the other side. So now the right or left arm, just lift a little bit, just, and see when you feel heavy, and you got to be a little sensitive to find the subtlety of, there is a little tension here. Of course, I can lift the arm, but here there is something that say, that is kind of from here to here was, easy. And here there is a little tension, okay? Now the same thing on the front, just very slowly lift the arm on the front, and then feel when kind of there is a little, something is like heavy. And then the other arm, and then feel a little bit, and then I feel like maybe on the inside of the arm, maybe even on the belly, maybe on your face. You know, you're going to see that everything is connected in the body, right? And then we're going to turn the head to the left. Just bring your chin to your left shoulder and back to center, and turn to the right and back to center. And then chinning to your chest and back to center, and then look up to the ceiling. Let the chin expand the whole front of the throat, and then come back to center. Okay, so this is just for us to have some measure here. Now we are going to think something that it was not exactly a nice experience in our lives, something that made us feel stressed out, or angry, or afraid, or which is not so difficult, right? You can just think COVID. But you know, something that maybe happened this morning, or maybe happened 20 years ago, it doesn't matter. Just keep the thought of that situation, that thing that happened to you that you didn't like it. It can be it could be very traumatic, but it could be just something that you didn't like it. So choose one of these situations and keep that on your mind. Keep that on your memory. Keep remembering that situation. And we are going to do the same movements with the arms, okay? So I'm going just to pause a little bit, choose one situation that, oh, no. I went to do a nose exam this morning, and I was so... the camera entering inside my nose. That's what I'm going to think, okay? And then I'm going to lift my arm, and then I'm going just to feel slowly when my arm gets heavy. And I think it's around here, kind of a little tension here on the front of the shoulder, on my neck, on the other side of the neck. Then bring it down. Let's do the other arm. So same thing, I keep that situation in my mind, remembering I was, you know, the situation that I didn't like it, okay? And then, oh, my arm gets very heavy, very, very early in the lift. Bring it down and let's go forward. You know, keep thinking that thing that was not exactly fun in your life. Bring it down, and the other arm forward. And bring it down. And now look to the left, turn your head to the left, and bring it down, bring it to the center and to the right. And feel the tension in the neck and center. And then we're going chin into your chest and keep remembering that kind of an awful situation. And then lift the chin up. And see when there is some tension that you can kind of, I'm going to stop here, okay? And release. Now, you may already felt some difference. Now, let's see what happens when we think in something very positive, something that happened to you that also can be this morning, can be 10 years ago, can be yesterday, something that just thinking about it, you know, you smile, you feel your heart getting warm, and you feel so good. And I think about my grandkids sending love letters to me. They do some drawings, so cute. And when I think that, you know, my heart just warms up, and I'm so, I feel that joy, right? And keeping that, I'm going to do the same exercise. So arm to the side, and I'm going to see how light it goes. Yeah, right? Bring it down. And now the other side. So think about the good experience. And bring it down. You may feel some difference. You may notice in the front. Keep thinking that good thing. Here is for me is enough. And let me see the other side. And just feel the tension. And the tension stops you. Oh, no tension. And then we're going to turn the head to the left and see if you can turn a little more without that tension that you felt before, and to the right. Oh man. I'm always surprised how this works. And then chin into your chest. Maybe you go even more down and chin up, and you go up. So did you guys feel any difference? If you felt any difference, just put in the chat, just a word in the chat, just for me to know if you felt any difference. We are just playing here with some thoughts, right? And you may feel some difference. Yeah, felt a little lighter when you feel a little more joyful, right? And Basani, you're here. That's nice. Nice to see you around. Jeffrey, no problem, no problem. We are just starting. Yeah, so that's what I was talking about. Consciousness, consciousness-based healthcare system. Okay, so sometimes people, why, I don't understand that. That's what it means. It means that whatever you feel, your emotions, your thoughts, they reflect, they are going to impact your whole body mind complex. And this, we did just a little example, and you could feel the difference, right? Yeah, so dear friends here. So because of that, I'd like to bring this concept of the COVID, right? Because it's impacting everyone, everywhere in the world, and the impact of the COVID, as we are going to see now, can be in some way balanced with those techniques, and I'm going to explain how and why. But now let's see what is going on with this pandemic that we all going through. So we are talking about the impacts of our beliefs, our mindsets, our stresses, and our emotions, and on our physical health. And there are huge amount of research that support this connection. Our immune function actually is one of the most impacted system by stress and those emotional swings. And whatever we are stressed, chronically angry, fearful, or feeling threatened by, all this uncertainty that goes on, we don't feel safe, right? Our immune system responds with depletion and underperformance, and actually inflammation. Stress creates inflammation in the body. And one of the main reasons, one of the maybe most, the greatest reason of stress in the nervous system that shifts the nervous system from the parasympathetic mode, that is the relax, repair, calm nervous system mode, to fight and flight, stress response, is feeling alone and isolated. That's very interesting, right? Because whatever, even if you have our family around us, we feel isolated in the family, right? We can't do everything that we want to do. We can go to the places we want to go. We can travel. And this sense of alienation and lack of connection is one of the worst type of insult to the nervous system and directly to the immune system. So this simple experience of being proactive in relation to your peace of mind and your health shift us, shift us into a productive stress response. And I'm going to, if you want, I can talk about this a little later. That is a more like challenge response instead of a fight or flight response. And that restores either the nervous system as the immune system. So this is some quotes from Deepak Chopra and Tanzi from the book that they just wrote, and I need to remember the name of the book now. The Gene in Your Gene is on my mind, but this is another book. So I'm going to, maybe in the end of the presentation, I give you the name of the book. But they say lifestyle, this domain where transformation takes place. The most exciting news of all is that the conversation between body, mind, and genes can be transformed. When I started teaching this class like 10 years ago, your genetic input was the most important thing in relation to causes of illnesses and disease, and by this scientific world. And this has been changing and changing and changing this last 10 years. And now they're kind of that only 3% or 2.5% of the causes of diseases are genetic. Everything else, is epigenetic, that is very flexible, and it is related to our lifestyle. So this transformation that we go when we start understanding this goes far beyond prevention, even beyond wellness, to a state that we call radical well-being. Okay. So that's what I was saying before from Chopra and Tanzi. Your names are fluid, dynamic, and responsive to everything you think and do. And the news that everyone should hear is that gene activity is largely under control. Every cell in your body is talking to all the other cells in your body. And we need to make part of this conversation. We need to be a part of the conversation. And you can start being part of the conversation with the access training and BodyTalk that facilitates this shifts in this conversation. Start creating this conversation with your body. Yeah, here, total meditation practice and living the awakened life. Thank you, Jeffrey. So, are you ready for radical well-being? BodyTalk Access, the class that we started on Sunday, offers that shift in the conversation with the body. Just like we have that stress response that is a survival system of our brain, our nervous system, we have also a relaxation response that is hardwired into our biology. And we don't need to believe, and if it works, if it doesn't work, in order for to work. So if we practice those techniques daily, and that's the power of those techniques, cortices and switching, that are techniques that you are going to learn. Cortices you're going to learn today, but switching is part of the 5 techniques that we learn in this class, in the Access class. We can do this reset on the innate relaxation response from a stress response to a relaxation response. So this techniques we call stress management tools that you can have, you learn, and then you do in your practice, in yourself, in your family, in your kids, in your friends. You can practice personally, or you can practice remotely. And why? Because all that connection, energetic connection with the brain and the heart and the enteric brain, they create this, they trigger the relaxation response, shifting the nervous system into a parasympathetic mode. And that's the mode of the nervous system that we want to stay most of the time, because it's the mode that supports health and repair of tissues and cells. So we are seeing here on the slide the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is a very powerful set of nuclei in the brain, and it is considered even endocrine structure, endocrine, because it communicates with the whole body through chemical communicators or hormones or neurotransmitters. And when we practice those techniques, we can really shift the hypothalamus and bring the whole body into a more repair and relaxation response, especially nervous system. Okay, and now we are going to learn the cortices itself. I think Anya is going to show us the technique, talk a little bit about the technique that is amazing, very simple. I have so many stories about miracles that happen with this technique. Okay, Anya,
Sounds
yes.
good. Yeah, cortices is one of my favorite techniques. And what's great about cortices is it can be done as often as you need to. And if you know BodyTalk, if you ever received BodyTalk sessions, we always ask what the priority is. Cortices is one of those techniques that does not need a priority. It just upgrades your whole entire system. It creates communication within your whole body mind without a priority. So it can be done as often as you need to, and it has a lot of great benefits. So today, we're briefly going to go through cortices, and we're going to kind of dive into the benefits of it on our next slides. But to begin, so cortices stand for the cortexes of the brain. So we have the mid cortices and we have temporal lobes. So we're going to start at the very back, at the occipital bone. So you don't need to know the names. You don't need to know anything other than the location of the hand positioning. So basically, we're going to go along the side of the mid cortices. So for me, it takes 5 or 6 position, but everybody else is different. So you're going to put one hand on the back of your head, and then you're going to open hand, close fingers together. You're going to tap over the left and the right hemisphere of the brain. So make sure you keep your hands, fingers closed. You're going to tap over the top of your head, taking deep breaths. You're going to tap over your heart. We have 3 brains. We have head, heart, and enteric brain, which is our gut brain. So we're going to tap the gut brain as well. And then you're going to move your hand from the first position to the second position. So the idea here is we're covering all parts of our brain. And again, we're tapping the head, the heart, and the navel, taking deep breaths in. And as we breathe, our body mind is scanning for any disbalances. Again, switch positions, go to the next one and tap over the head, heart, and the gut. The next position. And the mental focus here is to bring balance to the left and the right hemispheres of the brain as we're hovering over both parts. The next position goes over the head to harmonize, to improve circulation within the brain. And then the forehead to improve communication, to facilitate healing. This is a great technique to use, and I like to use it in the morning. And then you're going to do temporal brains to hold the sides of your head, and then tap over the head, the heart, and the belly. And this is a really good stress releasing technique. And it's sort of, I also use it as a concentration technique. So if I need to focus on something, I like to do cortices, or if I am stressed, if I do cortices, it kind of takes me out of that nervous response, and then it brings me back to focus, to the present moment. And it has a lot more great benefits that you're going to learn about in Access, but this is just kind of a overview, a quick overview. You want to take over?
Yeah, so how why, right, the cortices is just so miraculous, because when your brain is not functioning in this optimal level, nothing is going to work optimally in your body, because the brain is related to all the functions in your body. The nervous system makes all this communication. So there is so many communications, trillions of synapses. That is more connections in the brain than there are stars in the Milky Way. So we have so many electrical communication, and bringing this whole integration in the brain makes a whole difference in all aspects of your health. And this is what Anya was talking about, the parts of the brain that we are covering. We are covering the occiput here, and on the very back of the skull, and then the parietal and the frontal. We have two positions, and then the temporal. It's just like a visual. I love all those visuals, because you're going to remember. And this is underlining theory of the cortices that, like I said before, all disease has a functional relationship with our brain, our head brain. And they discovered that there are cold spots that have diminished blood supply or activity, neural activity in the brain, that are related to many dysfunctions in the body. They even relate this with kids with dyslexia, or with the problems for concentration and stillness, with kids. So we have done a few studies in relation to how the cortices allows to have a more complete and integration of the activity in the brain. You can see, I think we have one more picture, but we can see, oh no. So just come back a little bit. And those cold spots you can see are those blue parts. This is like a MRI done with some colors, and you can see that there is the brain on your left is a kind of a functional, normal brain with a lot of lighter spots, red spots, yellow spots, and a few of blue spots. And the brain on your right is supposed to be a brain from a depressed person. So with a lot less activity. So we see more cold spots. That's how the way that they call. And the cortices help to integrate more activity in the brain on those cold spots. So that's one of the focus that we bring on the cortices. Is very related to functionality in your body. So we have all those wonderful benefits. Is a powerful tool for self-awareness and self-love. And for me, this is the most important thing. And I usually say in my classes, when was the last time that we stopped and you admire your brain? When was the last time that you stopped and said, oh, brain, you're doing so good, wow, huh? What was the last time that you did that? We usually don't do it. We usually just kind of, if we forget something, we get very complaining, and we kind of, oh, my brain is not functioning well, right? So the practice of cortices bring this awareness of this magical system that we have just here in our head, that there is no computer in the world that can do the same functions that our brain does. So it's incredible. Also, the cortices helps to, I was talking about the stress response, takes out of the fight and flight mode if you practice regularly. And sometimes, if you are in a very stressful situation, we suggest do a couple rounds. We did just one round here. Do a couple rounds, 2 rounds, 3 rounds. For example, I went to do like a nose exam today. When I was waiting, I was doing rounds of cortices because I was so anxious. I don't go to the doctor usually, you know, so it was not a big deal, but I just not used to, you know, and I was feeling the anxiety. And then I wrote down, are you anxious? And said, no, I'm not just anxious when I come to the doctor. And I was doing cortices. And guess what? When I sat in the chair and they come with that camera to see inside my nose, I was just talking with the guy. I was like completely relaxed. So improves communication between right and left. This is very important because nowadays we are in a culture that is very technological and very tech, right? And we value all this information, and much information. The more information, the better. And they're finding out in biopsies now, when they do biopsies of the people that died, their brains, the left side of the brain that is related to the information technology, learning process, planning, right, is actually bigger physically than the right side of the brain. And the right side of the brain is all about intuition, is our ability to deal with chaos, right? We need to have this ability just to, yes, you know, not need to be organized and planned because some pandemic thing happens and then threw us out pretty quickly, right? So this integration of right and left brain, very important, and cortices help with that. Activates the relaxation response, like I said before, and helping the whole body mind to manage and process stress, and support BodyTalk sessions and any other treatments. And this is very important. Remember what I said before. If your brain is not in optimal function, you may need to take 4 aspirins to get rid of a pain in your shoulder, let's say, like an example. But if your brain is balanced the best it can be at that moment, you may need just 1 aspirin. That's the power of the cortices that creates this more balance. So any treatment will have more effect, will be more efficient when your brain is more balanced. Okay. Oh, so we did some tapping, right? And some of you may, if you haven't done tapping before or never heard about tapping, kind of, what is this? Like you do this and then this and then this, what is that, right? So I like to, this is part of the class, and but when there are this free intro, I like to explain the scientifically explain what is the tapping. So in the body we have 2 chemical systems of communication, and I already talked about them too. One is the nervous system. It's kind of relatively fast, right? We see some things or we touch things, and then all the stimuli goes all the way to the brain. We process in the brain, and then we feel the sensation, right? The sensation through this communication, the nervous system communication, is never in the present moment. It's kind of a little, maybe half a second, half of half a second. late, this information, right? Because that is this time for the input, the sensory stimuli to come in, and then the time to respond. And then, so it's fast, but it's not super fast. It's relatively fast. The endocrine system, I was talking about the hypothalamus, that is kind of it can be considered endocrine gland and communicates with all parts of the body through hormones, through neurocommunicators, neurotransmitters. But this is chemistry in the body. And this communication is slow because one endocrine creates one hormone that triggers another endocrine, that triggers the other endocrines that produce the final hormone. So it takes a little while for this communication to move. And then we have what we call the speed light communication. That is on the next slide. That we call the electromagnetic communication. And many scientists that are studying biophysics, they talk about this dramatically faster system of communication, a lot faster than the nerve communication, and is related to connective tissue, is related to the fascia, and is kind of the internet in the body. And they call this, in quantum physics world, a liquid crystal structure. So our connective tissue that surrounds everything in our body has this property of a liquid crystal structure. And a liquid crystal structure is, in quantum physics, it has it creates, it's like, remember the screen of our old computers, very old computers that we will touch and create a little like wave. That's a liquid crystal structure. Our computers are still crystal liquid structure, but now they are more tech. We don't feel so much. We feel a little bit, but not so much. And the property, one of the main property of the liquid crystal structure under quantum physics is what we call piezoelectricity. And that means when we compress one structure, a liquid crystal structure, it creates a wave, an electromagnetic wave that carries information. So I think I can come back here, is a flow of information. So that's what I was talking about, the piezoelectricity, and it's like a tsunami of information. And that's what we are doing when we are tapping. We are creating this information. What is the information that you're creating is what you're focusing, right? You're focusing, oh, my brain is amazing, right? We are focusing, I'm balancing all the parts of my brain, all the cold spots getting more activity. I'm balancing right and left. And that's what you're doing. And you're creating this wave of information through the whole body, integrating that information through all the systems in the body. So it's a very, very powerful and simple technique. And that's what we want. We want simple and super powerful so we can practice every day. I think we have a little more on the next one. Maybe I can show the pictures. This is the connective tissue there on the top. You can see the connective tissue between muscle fibers. And here on the bottom, those like blue, like cylinders, on the left side is a normal liquid, is how they kind of, they present themselves. In the liquid, the tissues, the cells, they are all like not exactly organized. But in the liquid crystal is on the right, you can see that the cylinders are more organized together, so the communication goes quicker. And you can see here on the far right is a picture of our a nerve muscle and all the little muscle fibers that really remember that organization of a liquid crystal structure, with the fascia surrounding every structure there, every cell, every tissue, every fiber. So this tapping that we do between the head, the heart, and the abdomen is the stimulation that creates this electromagnetic wave. Right? So you can call chi, prana, fascia, biofield, and this light tapping facilitates the optimal communication that stores and the memory of that information. Okay, so the tapping process, we tap the head, that activates the whole head brain, right? And that is a very interesting thing. If you don't need your brain, if you don't need any balance in your brain, nothing's going to happen. No harm can be done, because the body has its own intelligence and is going to balance whatever needs to be balanced. Then we tap in the sternum, the heart. We are connecting with the heart complex. So the tapping on the head is almost like the edit button. We are bringing this new information, typing a new information to the whole, all the systems in the body. And in the sternum, we are pressing the save button. So we are ensuring that this whole heart complex, this whole heart center energy is maintaining the information, is saving the information. And then we tap the gut brain. And the gut brain, we added like a couple of years ago, because there is in a whole scientific field this new information that we have a lot of neurons, specialized neurons in our gut brain that are focused on what is the most important for you in life. So when you tap the head and the heart and the enteric brain, in the end, we are kind of integrating that's really important, or what is really important on that information that we are sending to the body. It's fantastic, right? And we can do with our hands. We don't need to buy any expensive things. We don't need to take any chemicals. It's just balancing again and again, again and again, integrating this incredible energy centers that we have, right? So the Access is a training we start on Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific. And we are going to review the courses that we saw today. And there are some 5 techniques and 1 extra bonus, the fast aid. The cortices, is the balance of the brain, because if your brain is not balanced, nothing that you do is going to be efficient, the best efficiency that you can. Then we do switching, and switching is all related to stress. This whole stress threshold, your stress response, and we balance with switching. There is incredible points connected with the pineal and acupuncture points. Hydration. Hydration is all about chemistry in the body. So we do hydration before body chemistry to open up the potential of your immune system. And I don't need to say why this is important, right? Nowadays, with this pandemic around, you want to have your immune system the most balanced it can be, right? You don't want your immune system overactive or underactive. You want your immune system balanced. And that's what this technique does. But for that to happen, we need to hydrate first. Have a hydration in a cellular level. Hydration is not just about drinking water, because you can drink, But if your cells don't absorb water, you're going to be all swollen with a lot of edemas, because we want the water absorbed through the membrane of the cells. And that's what hydration technique is about. And then we have reciprocals, and the reciprocals, my favorite, is all about structural, but the main concept of reciprocals is a concept of classical Chinese medicine, the Wei Qi. Wei is protection. And guess what? We have a layer of protection, energetic field, energetic magnetic field around us that not just support us from injuries, physical injuries, climates, too cold, too hot, too humid, too dry, but also is your first protection against pathogens, against viruses, against bacteria. So we also want to have our Wei Qi the strongest it can be now. And the reciprocals practiced every day balances this electromagnetic field. So it's fantastic. I just love the reciprocals. The reciprocals, you touch all parts of the body. So we kind of get like a whole integration. And the Wei Qi also help us with the electromagnetic fields, 3G, 4G, 5G, it doesn't matter, because we have this field of protection. That's something that is inherited to us, but sometimes it can get a little weak, depend on trauma, stresses, and many other factors. So this practice of reciprocals boost our Wei Qi as well. And the first aid is our last one, is our bonus, is a little program that we do, to help us with emergencies, like daily emergencies, cuts and burns. Like I have a little cut here. I got very new knives and I cut my finger. So first aid is just amazing. I just do my cortices and do my the other steps, and then there is no pain, there is no bleeding. It's amazing. Why? Because we use the cortices to do its job, to focus whatever it needs to be focused, to bring the cells that need to stop bleeding and close the cut and the collagen and everything. So we have this innate wisdom, right? We don't think what's going on in this little cut, all the cells that get together there to close the cut, to fight against bacteria that can enter through the cut. It's a whole fantastic world, our body. So I think, okay, do you want to say something here?
Thank you,
Yeah.
Myriam.
I tried not to take you guys too long.
Huh?
I tried to go so I won't take too long, you guys.
I know we took a little longer. I appreciate everyone being here and going through this with us. For me, fast aid is amazing. Every time I feel migraine coming in, I just do fast aid, and sometimes it takes me twice to do it, and then it's just gone. I love it. I love fast aid. So so if you are interested in taking access, we are starting this Sunday. We are going to break it up in 2 sessions. We're going to have a first session on November 1st and another session on November 8th from 10 to 1. So it's 3 hours per session. We're going to meet on Zoom. And the price is $150 for new students. If you have done access with another instructor, it's $120 to monitor the class. And if you've done access with Myriam, you come in for free. So if you would like to repeat this class with Myriam, please come back to us. And if you'd like to register, you can email me at anya@radiantbodytalk, and I can send you all the information. I will also send you the recordings if you'd like to share it with any of your friends, if you think anybody would benefit from it, or if you just want to share this information, feel free. So So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Do you have any questions for
Yeah,
Myriam?
I want to just to, if you feel free, because I know I got 1 hour talking, and so feel free to leave if you need to. But if you have any question, I'll be here for a few more minutes if you want to ask something. Nice to see you guys. Ale.
We have some.
Ania, she needed to go. She couldn't say, yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Myriam. I just love it. Every time, I fall back on my axes, and every time in your presence, I'm like, just keep doing it.
I know, right? It's so funny, I start talking and I don't stop because,